Is Matt gonna be here tonight?
As far as I know. Hopefully this isn't take too long. You never know.
No, that's very true. The ones that you think you're gonna be here for 15 minutes, 2 hours later, you're still here, and the other ones that have got an agenda that would choke a horse and you're fucking going out the door before you've even drawn the first breath. It's like, wow. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, so Sherry's making up cookie dough tonight, so her and her sisters can do cookies when we get out there this coming week. They've done that for 30 years. They used to come to the point or go down to Syracuse or whatever. Now everybody's out there, so she's packing it up to take it out there with her. That's fine. That's what makes them all happy. I asked her, I said, what am I supposed to do out there? Because her brother-in-law, Doug, retired, oh, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. He's an ex-Marine, he's a jarhead, and he's a hardhead, and I said, I mean, I get along with him, but, what am I gonna do for 4 days or 5 days? I'm gonna go frickin' bonkers. So. I don't know. Yeah, no kidding. With a good charging cord. Yeah, I'm taking a laptop. The agency took all of our laptops that we had and we've had them all updated. I say all of them. There's only two of them, plus the one in the ambulance and that, but the secretary for the ambulance corps, we bought one for her years ago. Well, the damn thing is so old that it wasn't strong enough, wasn't big enough to power what is it? Was it Microsoft 2 or 10 or whatever?
Yeah.
So for, I don't know, 40, $50, there was something this guy put in for us and it beefed it up anyway. And then I've got another one that I'm gonna keep, and then that one we're gonna keep, let them use, but they're all updated now. So that's going with me out there.
Good.
Like you had a pretty good crowd there in the pictures that were on
Yeah.
Facebook.
I haven't even looked at
Yeah.
the pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
I could burn.
Oh, halfway done. I got the roof on today and, windows in, the door in, and 2 of the sidewalls down to where the wainscoting's gotta go. So about halfway.
Hello.
Hello. The only problem is when, the guy did my pad, he didn't account for the 5 foot over. So he only went 3 foot from that and that 3 foot, so I gotta bring in more stone and hand tamp all that after I paid somebody $1,200 to do that, so, It doesn't matter what you build, what you do, there's gonna be an issue.
Oh, yeah.
It's how you react to it.
Yeah.
I've done enough of them, sure.
Hey, the days are gonna be getting longer.
I know. That's it. Please look up.
Yeah. That was the first words out of my dad's mouth. Well, what I can understand anyways. This morning. Yeah. Winter's here and it's the shortest day. Okay, Dad.
At least he knows what day it is.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no question about that.
Good for him.
Oh, my shit.
Have a party, not.
I don't know who was in there last.
Well, cheers. I mean, yeah. Ah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And that,
Nope.
Alright. You must know, so nice and fun.
How are you?
Gotcha.
You all ready for Christmas, man?
Yeah. Gotta get some more food, but other than that, my wife did most of the shopping, so I bought her presents, she bought everybody else's presents, so. The in-laws are all coming into town, and a bunch of cousins, right? So. It's gonna be a full
You're gonna
house.
fill that big house.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be probably hiding out in some corner, trying to stay out of it.
done there before.
It's when you grab the dishes. Oh, let me help you with that. No, I'll take that trash. I
Hmm.
got. Go sit and enjoy.
My email with the names of the people at the,
Yes.
okay,
It's,
is it in there? Oh, you know what? It's not okay, so.
I printed it out.
Man, you need those bylaws back. We made the things we suggested.
Okay,
You know, with the wording that you suggested. We've already remade it. Instead of giving them back to you, we'll just go with it. We should be fine.
yeah, that's fine, if I ever need in the future, I can always get
Yeah.
a copy, so.
Well, they found a couple of things that they're gonna add to them, I think that we've gotten into when we get ready to do that, and then you'll get them back anyways, so.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that hopefully I never need to use, but
Mhm.
the one fire department I represent had a really bad
Mhm.
disciplinary issues that they probably never expected either, so
Yeah.
it's better to have it there
Yeah.
than not,
Oh, yeah,
not use it, you know?
without a doubt.
My daughter sits on the board and my project, they had to. They get somebody out too, and they had to change their bylaws.
Yeah. Well, I suggested to him by allowing for removal by like a super majority. So. I'm sure, I'm sure all our opinions will say that somebody unless we can get away with that, so. Hello.
It's not finished, it's totally fun.
But looks nice though.
In there, I wanted to, for my birthday, to donate. You'll be able to in 3 days.
Oh, okay, well, it's too late, my birthday already passed.
Well, that's okay, next year we'll still be in business.
it still probably need money.
And we will still need money.
I did speak to you about that though, right?
You did, and I thought it was gonna happen sooner,
Okay,
but the 501c3 has gone through and couldn't prove for the Yellow GoFundMe, the PayPal, or any of those. That we're nonprofit, we were nonprofit, but we got the paperwork.
okay, well,
Now, once we got the
congratulations.
paperwork. Days. So it's all good. It's going in the right direction. But there's some wording that I think will probably change but I wanted to have a gist of it.
You closed down that up there, huh? Nice. Nice. Oh, and they seem to be pretty happy.
It was the right fit.
Yeah.
I always said it looked like a farm market. I couldn't
Yeah.
understand why a farmer didn't buy it a long time
You
ago.
gotta be getting excited about Christmas that will die.
Yeah.
Now it's when your parents will all make jerks of themselves. Because they will be so excited.
He's not. He's
He's not gonna know the difference. He's even the age where he sits in the boxing shed, you see?
No.
But your parents will be in a
Yeah,
really good
stay-
position.
Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I'd like to introduce Kathy Madison, who is our new trustee. Was able to participate in the organizational meeting earlier this month, but this is her first formal monthly board, so
Thank you.
first is approving the minutes from our November 16th.
I move that we approve the November 16th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need approval for the December 4th organizational meeting minutes.
So moved.
For a second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Our water levels have come up a little bit. They're really up a couple inches from the low between last meeting and this meeting. They're up just a tiny bit from our last meeting. The outflows are still set a little higher than normal. But they have decreased them a bit for shipping. Shipping has got 2 or 3 more weeks left. And then we'll not have to worry about the outlet anymore. We are forecast to remain just an inch or 2 below average through May now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. In terms of our CDBG water system grant, all the contract documents have now been completed. State will have their State now has them all. Once they sign off, we can submit an RFQ to get bids from various engineers to do the project for us. Sharon's working on the RFQ as we speak. Does need to be advertised for 3 weeks as a condition of the contract. Or at least 3 weeks, so it won't be till the February meeting that we select that vendor. The next meeting of the peer committee is next month. It still needs to be scheduled, but it's meant to be scheduled toward the end of next month. Eminent domain, we did get the appraisal. Survey company has given us a preliminary, but they were refused access to one of the properties, so we got to work that out with the attorneys, and that's underway with them. And just a note that the South Shore Road drainage project got tested on Monday, and it worked very well. The whole pipe was full of water just blasting out.
Awesome.
The pond stayed pretty normal.
Fabulous.
The wastewater, removed 61 inches of supernatant, helped the water department find a possible water leak on South Shore, which no leak has been found. We are working with the golf course to see if some of their chemicals could be giving some of our tests some false positives. This is a area that's been wet for years and years. Mark worked on it. Once in a while, it tests positive for either chlorine or fluoride. Sometimes it tests negative. There are people that will listen for water leaks, and he had one of those people come 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they didn't find anything. So Bob Elliott has the chemicals now that the golf course uses, and he's going to do a little research and see if any of those are potentially causing some of our tests. We don't really think it's a water leak, but it's wet. So wastewater department also helped the water department install 2 new water services. They went to Red Creek to see the Wayne County Water Authority plant there. They did the sewer connections on Lake Road. Helped with meeting readers this month, and Josh started his wastewater school last week. He's been in school for 2 weeks. So they have his first test on Friday, tomorrow. And he's learned that everything Terry and Jeff and everybody else told him is true. It's a hard course. It's a hard subject. No wrapping paper or hose in our flows. It's the sweet slogan. Don't have a water report. So we'll move on still.
Fire department report, they had a transformer fire at Wickham Boulevard. They assisted EMS at Irwin Street with a gentleman that had fallen. Vehicle fire on Lake Road. WR4 is out for the season, out of the water. However, the emergency management has requested that they have it back in for the day of the eclipse on the 8th of April, just to make sure we have extra water coverage. The line officers, which we need to vote on tonight, we didn't talk about that, but we probably can do it now. But Mark Jones Jr. is the chief, Chuck Surgeon is the first assistant, Brian Williams, second assistant, Danny Motler's the third assistant, and the deputy chief will be, they picked that, the chiefs do, they appoint that. They noticed on here that 22.5 would have been the deputy chief, but they retired that number because it was Mark Senior's, so they retired it in his name, and they're not going to utilize that anymore. President Chris Schertz, vice president's Mark Lucas, treasurer Tim Jones, secretary is Naomi Crockford. I'd like to make a motion that we okay the line officers for the Sodas Point Fire Department for 2024.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
As far as insurance, that's coming around the corner here very shortly. They'll get started on that in the next month or so, next couple of months. Parking enforcement, Lori, I know you're interested in getting some information on that for next month and we'll work on that.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a problem. Safety officer, is part of the jobs that the mayor gave me. I took a regular safety officer and advanced safety officer class for the state of New York many, many years ago. I'm trying to get my paperwork from that to see if any of it'll cross, in regards to the agency or in regards to the village. Fire protection commissioner and, fire inspection commissioner are also part of my work, and there's trainings out there that I need, and I'm working with Kevin on that right now. So I guess that's all I've got.
Gabby?
All right, I'm reporting on the ambulance. Silverwater ambulances had 8 responses in November. 5 of those were billable. The total responses for this 2023 year to date, or to the end of November, were 411. The ambulance attended various other events, community events. The first weekend in December, the Sodas Fire Department Auxiliary, the craft fair that weekend, they had a booth there. They attended the recent parade that was in Sodas, the Christmas vehicle parade in Sodas, and they stood in on call for Wallington, the Wallington fireworks. The ambulance has to have its certificate of need, its CON, renewed annually,
No, every 2 years.
every 2
Yep,
years.
every 2
Okay.
years, and the 2 years is coming up in May.
In May, the end of May, and Bill is working on that right now. The lab certificate, also the ambulance lab certificate has to be recertified by the middle of March, and Bill is working on that also. We have a new EMT, or passed his EMT final, that would be Brandon.
Legacy.
Legacy, I
Yes.
wasn't sure. I say that. Anyway, and he's working towards, working with the medics towards being able to do that along with the driver. So that's coming along. Now, I should talk about, the officers at the meeting, this past week for ambulance, to be approved, by our board here, for the ambulance. The president is Tom Pekunka. Vice President is Jack Mattice, Treasurer Sherry Kalush, Director of Operations Bill Kalush. I make a motion that we accept these officers as reported.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, is that it?
No, I've got a report. I sent it in, but I don't see it here. But I can tell you what it said. It wasn't much. And also the highway report.
Well, I haven't called on Bud yet.
I'm sorry. I thought I was next. I apologize.
It's all right.
I'll raise my hand next time. My hearing must be going because I did that the other night on a meeting, with the planning board meeting. I thought they said something and I didn't hear it right. So I
Go ahead,
apologize.
Highway Department, fall cleanup's done. They did around the village 3 times this year, 52 loads of leaves, which total over 21,000 pounds. That's a lot of leaves. They've already made 6 plow trips so far this season. Got the Christmas decorations up around the village.
That looks beautiful.
They want to thank the village people and they helped out with that. Payloader's back up and going, and they're set and ready for whatever comes next. Winter projects will be starting, and looks like we're ready to go whenever Mother Nature comes at us.
I had a concern with, I guess highway is the one that's responsible, and I called Brad about it, and he gave me an explanation for why dog excrement isn't being picked up around the village and garbage. But I've had several calls from residents, and I think that we should be revisiting that. Do you want to revisit that
Okay.
with him?
Yep. The
And
dog, I saw next.
yeah, and
Okay.
it was followed up by several more.
Okay,
And so I think that, and also a weekly garbage run that just kind of goes around to check the parks and stuff.
There's no cans out.
But I think we've got people, we're trying to say this is a year-round place to come and visit, we probably should be placing some trash cans out there, even if we don't have them. We should find some that we can put out, because I know what Brad explained to me was that they bought bigger cans for the dog excrement and that they blow around and go all over the yards and then they end up picking it up. So that's not the answer for winter, but we're trying to encourage people to visit, come with their kids, come with their dogs, do their thing. And we should have room for trash unless we're gonna advertise, carry it in, carry it out, or do something like that. But that's my thought on it. But maybe Brad's got some better ideas. I'm not
I've got
saying
a
this
sit
is,
down coming up with Brad soon, so I'll
yeah,
have a mention with that.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see what is available options are.
He's really great about
Yeah.
whatever. Is it my turn now?
Hi, Lori, it was an email, and so I apologize, because I didn't put it in the packet.
It's all right.
It's.
You know, I got it right here. It's been a long week. It's a season to be golly. The CEC updates, thank you for acknowledging that. Though. The CEC update is that Jim Bittaker thinks that we might still get some money. I really doubt it. It looks like to me that the EV stations are dead, but I did attend this week's meeting with SOTUS and came up with some really great ideas that I will report on next month for things that we can do jointly that may make us eligible for some other grant money that are simple. And the other thing that I was supposed to ask is, have we put in any splits or any of those kinds of things when we renovated the fire hall and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's what we have.
Okay, that's all eligible for CEC money. So I'll meet with Melanie or you to get that all together and we can submit it. So, because that's all under the energy efficiency. And we may be able to do something to get community members so that they can do this as well. So that came up this week. LWRP, they should be having response to all the community information here fairly quickly. In January, I would expect that BNL will present that. I don't know that for sure, but they're pretty efficient. Willow Park has been moving right along. I sent in the MOU did you get that?
Yeah, I think you and Matt and I need to sit down and
Good idea.
actually write it, because it's just a lot of ideas right now.
Right. And I know we need to do that. We should have that in line before we start doing anything, but sometime in the next maybe 3 to 4 months. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Not this week. We've been working on getting a website done, all the things that go along with trying to make money. You've got a prototype of the brochure in front of you that it will not be the final brochure, but that's close to what we're going to have. We've been refining the logo and we got a phone number. So that's all going well. We met with Motion Junction again, and they're giving us a lot of ideas on how to do joint activities. In the pamphlet, you'll notice that I didn't say no tax dollars, but I replaced it with no tax impact. The reason I did that is because we know that our highway department will probably have to do some work, and we may have some in-kind services, like if we need a dump truck or something going and we have it, then we can use the village if they're available. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I don't want to close it off and not be able to. But that is the only thing. It would be only in-kind services or things where they're already budgeted in. And we can talk about that more if we need to. And then that's pretty much it for right now.
Very good. Kevin's report, I think everybody has, he issued 7 permits, $905 in fees. He did complete all of his annual training. So public comments. In the room,
I noticed the USGS has been steadily on the bay, account basis almost, you know what they're doing?
No, we don't.
Planting fish,
You doing what?
planting fish.
Planting fish.
What's that mean?
Who's hacking?
Yes.
Whether they had any kind of signing of it,
You sure you want to fall?
it's like a survey vote.
Oh, okay.
It probably is.
Are you working on Crescent Beach maybe, or?
That's. The contractor's hired for that, so I doubt it.
Or maybe East Fall.
They could be doing something there. They're doing the final design now.
You know where I go.
So,
Yeah, over the last 3 months, they're steadily in the public. Well, that's.
Yeah, they were over, yeah. I drove with 2 people.
I'll see if I can learn more. But it's USGS.
Yeah.
Any other in the room? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, we will close public comments. There is no old business. We'll move on to new business. First order is asset disposal of the old Bobcat from the Highway Department. We traded in at the surplus value of $35,000.
I move that we accept the bid of $35,000 trade-in. Is that the proper way to do that?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Lori had asked for a parking discussion, so in the early packet we sent the current draft of the updated parking policy with all of Gary's notes in it. All the dark stuff is all his notes, so those are all edits I need to make. North Ontario Street also needs to be added. But other than that, this is essentially what we will come forward with sometime in January or February. Did confirm that Centel Street, the property, the business owners over there want no parking, and they are working together on a contract to handle that between the two of them.
And what does that mean?
It means they're gonna have a contract of where the people are gonna park and how it's gonna get paid for.
I
In the
would,
parking area.
I-
Park.
I agree that it's a great idea, but I think we should survey that before we let anybody do anything so that we know exactly what we own.
It's nothing to do with our property, it's all on their property.
Well,
The parking lot between those two, between the campground and Sodas Marina belong to the two of them.
well, that, okay, I agree with that. There's nothing I'm gonna do to regulate that. But the last opportunity that they had, the parking spots were going for $500 a parking spot there, and we have taxpayer-owned property on the side of Centel. We have it at the pump station, and we have it at Cook Street. And I believe that we should be surveying that to see what we can do legitimately with that. I also think there should be a moratorium put on any sales of any right-of-ways or property of any kind in the village of Sodas Point. We have given away access to our bay over the years everywhere. And now ice fishermen don't have a place to come on. Trades were made, and then the trade that you make, which would be the yacht club saying they'd house ice fishermen so that Greg Street could be closed down, becomes not the case anymore because they can't fund the insurance allegedly, or we haven't looked anywhere else for insurance. I have a concern with the fact that we're closing off all of these other places. And I believe it was one of Sharon's grants that she had extended the business district to Route 14. We're looking for a pier, a public pier, and we aren't going to have any place to park.
Sure we will, that'll have to be part of that project. I agree with you, we shouldn't be selling any village-owned property or giving up any right. I completely agree. And I think the board does. And
Okay,
I think the last several boards have.
okay.
So I don't think that's the issue at all. I think first we gotta nail down our parking code to match both the updated streets and today's realities, so that we can enforce the parking code in a realistic way, over time.
Well, I mean, let's go back to what Lori said with the yacht club, you know, taking away the parking there because of insurance. Well, we now have signage on Greg Street that you can't park there. Well, that was done as a quid pro quo.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't done, that had nothing to do with it. The Greg Street parking, no parking signs were put up because fire trucks could not get down Greg Street between the snow and the ice fishing. So when we decided to put those signs up, we went to the yacht club and got approval to park there, and then they renamed. Yacht club also wants a community pier. So I have every intention of going back to them if it looks like we're really gonna have ice fishermen. To say,
Yeah, well, we need some ice first, but yeah.
you know, you should really let people park there and you should figure out whatever your issue is. Because what really caused that was just a changing of the guard of their board.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's it. Well, some members will admit that.
Right.
Okay.
So we can certainly go back to them and try to push that. And some of them really want the community pier there. Not sure that's the best place, but whatever. If so, then they should accommodate us in the winter as well. So.
So those were my thoughts, and when I was doing the EV stations, I had Phil outline, and I sent everybody a copy of that, the 22 spots that we could get out of the pump station. And if we keep that permeable, it doesn't affect the environment. It will have room for the 2 EV stations that we were talking about eventually, because I do believe that grant will come back. And if we look at Cook Street, it's not much to fix that one. It's not going to be popular with a homeowner, but it belongs to the village. And if the property belongs to the village, we should be allowing our people to park in those areas, or their visitors, or whoever is here. There's talk of a restaurant coming, another restaurant. There's a lot of things happening. And I think we have to be proactive with the planning for the parking. If this is really our expanded business district. I heard rumors about the Genesee Malt House too, that there's investors here. Have you heard that?
No,
Okay.
there's not even an environmental study of that property.
Yeah, that's gonna be huge.
So I think that's a ways away.
Yeah. But again, you know, is there room to park around there? Is there, you know, how best, and I'm not saying I have the answers, but I'm saying that we need to accommodate this because it's not really much different than people staying overnight in next door to Hots Point from the marinas there, or our restaurants that don't have any parking downtown. We've made arrangements for them. If we're going to develop this area, we need to think about it in a long-term plan.
And I think we will make arrangements as some of those things get proposed. And if we want to start with Cook Street, that's certainly one we can do.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is too, that we gotta look at is that, like with Cook Street, that was basically being set up initially when we started talking about it, because they can get across into the park that's across the street, the walking area and that. But we've got to be careful, like with the sewer plant and that stuff, you know, there's no sidewalks, there's issues that we got to be careful of. If they park there and they decide to walk downtown, as of right now, it's walking along the road. But I think Dave's right, and I think you are too, Lori. We don't want to sell any more stuff, that's for sure, because we do need the parking. But there's just so many things like sewer lines and that kind of stuff around the sewer plant and all that, that it's going to take some time to get that stuff drawn up and
The
ironed out.
survey will expose that, won't it?
No, not
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah, and we know there's a sewer line there, and that's one of the first ones we want to replace. Actually, it's a water.
I thought that one went down to Centel.
I don't know where the sewer line is, it's the water line that's along the road that we want to replace. The sewer line is a force main that goes up to the highway. I don't know who that is exactly. That comes out of that pump station.
There's also a drain that runs from across the road by the liquor store and literally goes underneath the liquor store and comes out at the bay, cause when Mel Crandall did that years ago, he raised holy Cain with the state, and they finally said, do what you gotta do, and it's, I don't think appropriate, because the building it's sitting on it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, on that drain, it's, and if you go down through there when it's rained hard and that, there's a puddle laying in there, I mean, there has been for years, so, yeah. Yeah, just some things to look at, that's all.
So
Well,
I think there's agreement, we need to continue to look for places to park. And if we wanted to this spring or summer, turn Cook Street into a parking area, we could get it surveyed, we could get it designed, because I think we need to delineate it in some fashion. And highway guys could probably build it over the summer.
well, I would like to see us do all three areas. And, I think there's no reason not to ask Mark Costage's daughter's firm, I think it is, because they have all the information on all of the things that have been surveyed already. So it wouldn't be much to get those surveys. So I'd be willing to make a motion that we survey those three properties. And I don't think it would exceed $3,000, $5,000. What are we paying for our surveys now? 800?
If I could make a suggestion,
Yeah.
why don't you, make a motion, if you're gonna make a motion, why don't you motion that he provide you an estimate to see how much it would cost?
I move that we get an estimate from Mark Costage. And, or his daughter's, what is the proper name of the firm?
Passage in,
Costage Engineering. For the three properties,
so Cook Street, pump station,
yes. And the pump station, we have to make sure that we can get a fire truck in there if cars are parked there, so it would have to be clearly delineated. And I think you can delineate that on the pervious,
well, we also have to worry about the utilities that are there. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's gas lines, and power lines, and force mains and gravity mains all there.
yeah.
What's the third?
The third one would be along Centel Street, along where they were parking all last year. And
We know where that property is.
then can you provide that information for us at the next meeting?
Sure, it's on all the tax maps. And it was delineated when they did the survey for the campground. It's just on the other side of just on the south side of the telephone pole.
Well, when we went in there to do that last year, and I received a lot of calls from somebody who thought he owned it, I think we have to clearly define our pins.
They're there. They're there. I'll ask them to
Clearly,
highlight them.
yeah. And I guess a goal to highlight them or make sure that we
Flag 'em.
know, flag them.
Flag it then.
All right.
That's a motion, so moved.
Is there a
Thank you.
second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
I think if we can, that's parking, that if we do a public pier there, and I think we have to be thinking in that, that's 22 spots, it feels right. And,
I don't think that's what the public peer wanted to know the truth. Yeah,
but
that would be-
regardless, if we end up with a restaurant in there, or we end up with something else there,
Yeah.
we still need the parking, and we know that that marina has no parking,
That's not true. The marina has parking.
way out.
And
Have you watched the old people get out of those cars? I've seen the young ones too, but have you watched the old people get out? of those cars?
absolutely, and I've talked to the marina owner, the manager that was violating what the homeowner, what the property owner asked him to do, will not be back this summer. He's already gone. To be a new property manager. They're all on board.
Have you talked with the owner that lives in Florida?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the problem last summer was the manager, he wanted to do things the way he wanted to do things.
Okay,
And he's gone now,
okay,
so there'll be a new manager. I suspect they're gonna have golf carts and they're gonna have people parking closer because he and Bruce are making arrangements.
excellent.
However, they're gonna do that. I don't know what the fees will be and who will pay them and how they'll be paid. An easy thing to do is to raise the dock ramp and pay Bruce.
Right.
But But
It's not a
that's
village issue.
for them to work out.
That's not for us,
Right.
but the other stuff is taxpayer property, so that is for us.
Remind me, I want to talk to you about something on art.
Mhm.
afterward.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. So we're gonna make a motion on the MOU. I'm gonna find out about, okay, I've got my 3 things, thank you.
All right, it's time to pay the bills.
12/1 through 12/60 totaling 196,960.42. General fund 153,444.24. Water 13,996.43. And wastewater 29,519.75.
I move we pay the bills.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye,
Yes, we have a budget transfer resolution.
Two.
Yes, sir.
This is just the first, the 8,600, that was because we did the second fireworks show and received the donations in, so I just have to make a budget.
so that's the donations that were collected from residents. Can we add that into there? Cause I was asked who donated that money. And I said, I don't know,
I mean, it wasn't
Says
just residents.
It was
it
business.
isn't it,
Donation.
community donations would be good.
That's what it says right there.
It says that.
Oh. Okay,
So I just need to make.
Gotcha.
I need to fix it. I need to raise the revenue and raise the expense line to show. that.
I move that we, do I need to read that? 20?
No.
Okay. I move that we approve the $8,600 transfer from community donations to expense for fireworks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then, the second one is we approved the 22,610 to pay for the work done over, on South Shore. So I just have to, from moving money from the ARPA money, so I just have to make that adjustment.
I just have a question as to how does that fit into ARPA money? Because that was pretty clearly defined. I'm just asking. It was-
How did it fit in? Meaning, when did we decide to put it under ARPA money, or why can we use it?
Why can we use it?
We can use it for any, they changed the rules and they made them easy. We can use it for any valid village expense except retirement back pay and something else.
Okay, I move that we approve the $22,610 transfer from ARPA funds to cover the Sill Shore Road repair.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Okay. Any other business before we go to?
On the-
executive session?
On the moratorium for purchase of property, I'd like to move that we make sure that we do not sell any village property.
Why don't we write something and pass next meeting?
Deal.
Well, and just to note, anytime the village wants to sell property, you have to approve it as a board anyway. So I mean, you're
Right.
putting a moratorium on something you have to approve for yourselves anyways each
Okay.
time, so it can't be sold without your approval.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. We're gonna go into executive session. Thank you very much.
Have a nice Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.